Good afternoon. It is Tuesday, August 6th, 2013. This is your Island Blader speaking. Here's what's happening. An interesting comment on the largest group of New York Jets fans' Facebook page actually kind of brought to my interest today. As people were, of course, what it's been for most of the summer has been how much Sanchez sucks, Smith has outplayed him, blah, blah, blah. Pardon. Now, maybe Geno Smith has outplayed Mark Sanchez because think about it. Geno Smith is an excited rookie that can't wait to get, that is excited to be in the NFL and so on and so forth. Of course, he's getting an opportunity, in New York nonetheless. Now, you got Sanchez, and you look at all Sanchez has gone through in 4 years of football. He was with a team that was, up there, in the Final Four of the NFL twice in his first 2 years. Then he sank to mediocrity. And then he just sunk to the Blaine Gabberts and Brady Quinns of the NFL. Now, if you look at Sanchez, it just seems a lot like the Jets have thrown him to the wolves. They have set him up for failure with all that they had. 2009, he was shaky. His first 3 games, he was great. And then, he had the midseason woes, and they were thinking, okay, he's a rookie, it's blah, 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 rookie mistakes happen, and everything else. It's part of, growing up as a quarterback. Now, you see, in 09, the playoff run that he had, his success carried over into 2010, okay? People seem to sometimes forget what good he did us in 2010, helping to lead us en route to that 11-5 season. Okay, those November 2010 comebacks where, the 3 games in November the Jets could have very well lost. Whose arm brought them back into those games? Wonder who. Down 10 against Detroit with 3 minutes to go in the fourth quarter? Giving up the tying touchdown with less than a minute to go in Cleveland. Who did it when we were just about to finish in a tie? Jets blowing a 23-7 lead against Houston. Almost lost, gave up 20 consecutive points. The defense, who threw that bomb to Edwards and then the fade route to Santonio to win that game? So, and in terms of the playoffs, who had he had a couple of, okay playoff games. The Cincinnati game in 09, San Diego in 09. In the 2 playoff losses the Jets have had, he was pretty okay. He was pretty decent. And then, of course, the Patriot game. Come on. Let's face it, Jet fans of this generation and so on. If we were not around in 1968-69, okay? Sanchez led us to the best victory ever, okay? For our lifelong statuses as Jet fans, okay? Yeah, 68-69 they won the Super Bowl, but were we around? No. Sanchez has also led us to the closest we've been to the Super Bowl, technically. Yeah, you can say Vinny Testaverde in 99. Yes, you could say Sanchez in 09. But think about it, though. In 2010, despite the fact we were down 24-0 in Pittsburgh, we were 1 touchdown away from going to the Super Bowl. And I strongly believe, you can call me crazy if you want, that if the Jets got the ball one more time, I really think Sanchez would have let him downfield to win the game. Granted, the Jets had their chances to win that game, but, what's done is done. That's the past. There's nothing you can do. However, ever since that fateful 24-19 AFC Championship loss on January 23rd, 2011, the Jets have regressed. Sanchez has regressed. The whole team as a whole has regressed, okay? You gave him less weapons to work with. You gave him, you have coordinators who have failed him. One of them only lasted 1 season, Tony Sparano. And then you had to go get Mr. Tim Tebow. Okay. So, and of course, Tim Tebow, who really honestly did not serve as a threat to Sanchez's job. But, with his immense following, the airheads of football, knew Tebow was going to be waiting in the wings. Everyone from his fans to the media were going to be sitting there saying Tebow should start. This is just removed from a contract extension. It was a screwy Louie job. If you think about it, the Jets have screwed many personnel over the years, Sanchez being one of them, except Sanchez is still a Jet, And obviously, they've been trying, there's been a lot of expressing concern. Obviously, this whole thing between him and Geno Smith of who's going to get the start come week 1 of 2013. All summer, all summer it's been said that Sanchez is going to get the start. It's been just said now that in the first preseason game, which is on Friday night in Detroit, that Sanchez is going to be starting. He's going to get the starting reps. Now, starters usually don't play. They only play like maybe half of the first quarter, and that's it. Maybe a drive or two, and that's it. Because preseason is more of a tryout, a formalized tryout, a glorified scrimmage. Okay, we know that. But in terms of Sanchez, I mean, they took his offense away. He doesn't scramble like he used to, scramble out of the pocket like he used to. It's just he hasn't been the same. The offensive line all of a sudden doesn't block for him anymore. Now I'm not going to deny this. Okay, Sanchez is interception prone all over the place the last 2 years. He's been terrible. Okay, but I really think that if you think about it, Sanchez did not deserve the offseason leading into 2012. He didn't deserve that. Okay, you give him a contract extension, you sign it, a fairly backup an experienced backup quarterback in Drew Stanton, and then you see Tim Tebow gets released. The moment you see it, you go and try to pursue the guy. Now, Tebow chose New York, yes, but why did you try and go after Tim Tebow in the first place? Okay, now you see with Sanchez, it's just I just think he deserved better. And ever since, he hasn't had a quiet offseason. On or off the field. So, I mean, they've done nothing except throw this guy to the wolves. It's almost reminiscent of Chad Pennington. About how he was thrown to the wolves. Midnight Massacre, okay, in 2008. And then, you know what I mean? And it seems like these grand names that the Jets seem to want to sign to get headlines end up being just as miserable failures, too. So, if you think about it, what can you say? I really think Sanchez has been let down. Like I said, the whole, the interceptions and the offensive firepower, the crappy coordinators, and then the Tebow fiasco. I mean, how much scrutiny can this guy go through? Okay, it got to the point where at training camp in the annual green and white scrimmage the other day, Sanchez was booed. Very classy Jet fans. It's just training camp, really. It really is just training camp. And I know he got picked off once, and then he finished practice with a 59-yard bomb to Stephen Hill. But what more do you want? You know what I mean? It's like it's like, seriously, serious. And, and it really, everyone does wonder about our behavior as Jet fans. I mean, I go on YouTube and I see the crap that goes on during Jet home games of people fighting and people, drunk and cursing at each other. Now, okay, that can happen in any city. Every village has its idiot. But, really. I say the fans in Philadelphia and Boston are bad. Eagles fans, Philly fans, Patriot fans, whatever. But then, Jet fans are equivalently as bad. Okay? Remember, are we known to telling women to flash? Okay? Are we the ones that weren't Jet fans the ones that kind of told Fireman Ed to go away? That basically forced Fireman Ed out of his little persona. Instead, he'll be going to Jet games as simply Ed Anzalone. Okay? And Fireman Ed even said, he's like, the behavior of Jet fans has just been too brutal. He's taken a lot of scrutiny. I mean, I personally think it was the Tebow fans, they're the fans of the Jets. But I wouldn't be surprised if it was even the real fans that just love to go to the games to get drunk and start fights. I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, it's funny. People say New Yorkers are classless. I mean, when I've gone to Citi Field to watch the Mets, and I know the Mets have been crap, but I don't see any. I really haven't experienced and seen any bad behavior in Met games. I'll be honest with you. Okay, I mean, I know baseball is played every day versus football, which is played once a week and only for 3-4 months out of the year. I understand. But the way the Jets themselves, from fans to management to ownership, have treated the players, it's really, brutal. And just it makes this look horrible as a fan base. For those that want to go to games, for those people that go to games that want to have a good time, for those that, read up on this team like myself that read it every day, that want to see the Jets in a positive light and not a negative light, trying to be, attention seekers. We don't want that. You know, I mean, the last couple of years have been a real embarrassment, and it's just been like, last year was just utterly humiliating. With the whole Tebow fiasco, watching Jet games, it really was a clown show. And while I know the word circus is getting played out when describing the Jets, I mean, it really, watching the games, it just looked like it was a complete fiasco, especially with Tebow there. Okay, so it really is like it really was like a cartoon, a circus act, whatever. So anyway, with that said, I mean, what a disaster. This whole thing, the dysfunction, just the dysfunction of this team, it's just ridiculous. And don't forget about the players themselves. In the last couple of years, how dysfunctional it has been. The end of 2011, and then of course, with the Tebow thing really divided the locker room. I mean, that situation, just added more dysfunction, a divided locker room, a divided fan base more than ever than 2011. So, you're going to have to excuse my phone here. It's being weird. I think the battery's dead or whatever. Anyway. So yeah, it's the treatment of the players. I feel most especially for Sanchez, and like I said, 90% of Jet fans hate him, people seem to forget all the good. That's the past. It's time to go to the future, and Sanchez is just not our future, as fans have said. So, no. Anyway, it's ridiculous. It's just ridiculous. I just think Sanchez has kind of played the cool California, the cool California kind of guy. Just kind of take things calmly instead of saying I just got to get better. Instead, I suck. I'm letting down my team. But I really think that he does deserve better. And I think, honestly, if he were to ever leave the Jets, I think he'd flourish. Honestly. For some reason, because karma always seems to come back to get the Jets in the butt. So, anyway, with that said, I'm going to keep it to here. This is your Island Blader. Peacing out for now. Preseason starts Friday, so here we go. Anyway.